Panhandle man accused of burglarizing western Nebraska businesses made his initial appearance in court this week. In for the KNOP's Panhandle Roundup, I'm Andre Brooks. The Nebraska Rural Radio Association reports that Edwin Janis has been charged for a Class 2A felony of burglary stemming from a break-in last week in Scotts Bluff. Witnesses say that they saw a 27-year-old inside the business, and police found him walking northbound on Broadway in Scottsbluff upon arriving at the scene of the incident. Janis is being held on a $55,000 bond with a 10% provision. The Minatare man was arraigned Monday afternoon in Scotts Bluff County Court. Now to Kimball, where two adults were arrested following the discovery of a juvenile driver following a traffic stop the evening of June 6th. The News Channel Nebraska reports that Derek Metcalf and Cara Robinson were arrested and charged with 2 counts of child abuse and 1 count of contributing to the delinquency of a child. Last Thursday evening, Panhandle police discovered the 12-year-old driver during a traffic stop while their parents and another juvenile passenger were in the vehicle as well. Officers found evidence that the parents were intoxicated. The juvenile driver was released to family, and long-term custody is still being determined. Stay with KNOP for updates on this story. From midday until this month, the City of Scottsbluff Police Department participated in nationwide and then it clicked seatbelt enforcement wave, the goal of raising seatbelt usage rates. Prior to the enforcement, a survey was conducted and discovered just over 50% of vehicles in Scottsbluff have property seatbelted occupants. A survey was conducted after the enforcement and 50% of vehicles have property buckled occupants. Officers also issued 19 seatbelt citations and 3 child safety citations during the enforcement. 56 individuals were issued citations for the no valid registration, 12 for non-proof of insurance, 9 for driving under suspicion. A total of 182 warnings were issued as well. Hold your horses, Miss Rodeo Nebraska. 4-day pageant of events kicked off Sunday with a horsemanship competition, barbecue, and raffle. The 4 days of events will help with selection process for Miss Rodeo Nebraska and Miss Rodeo Teen Nebraska. Monday was a speech competition at Mid-Plains Community College to hear 6 contestants, 3 from each category, give speeches. The competition continues tonight with the style show and Miss Rodeo Nebraska scholarship auction. Now here is the weather, everyone. Now we are looking at those mainly sunny conditions here across the Panhandle at this time, and it is just going to continue throughout the day today. So if you want to go out there and really enjoy yourself, folks, this would be the day to do it. But make sure that you are drinking some water because temperatures are increasing into the 70s, and they're just going to continue to increase throughout the day today. And we are thinking that we're going to be seeing those temperatures increase into the 80s to even near 90 degrees in some locations with those mainly sunny skies, and the winds, they're going to be relatively light throughout the day, which is good news. But once we get into tonight, temperatures will drop on down into the 60s and the 50s, so it's going to be quite mild overnight. So I do suggest an air conditioner to be on, and as we enter into our Wednesday, we will see those temperatures rapidly increase into the mid to upper 90s to even near triple digits, so it's going to be quite a hot time for us, folks. Now it's sports with our very own John Clanton.
Welcome to the Sports Desk. Softball players from across the region were in North Platte over the weekend for the annual Buffalo Bills softball tournament. Now, the event was broken into 5 age groups: 10 and under, 12 and under, 14 and under, 16 and under, along with 18 and under. Featuring teams from across Nebraska, including North Platte, Scotts Bluff Gering, the Sandhills, Kearney Alliance, Grand Island, as well as the state of Colorado. Teams started the weekend in pool play, then wrapped up the event on Sunday with bracket play. Here's a look at all the teams that advanced into the Final Four or Final Two of their brackets. Congratulations to these teams for stellar tournaments, and great job by all the teams participating in North Platte over the weekend. That's all from the sports desk. Everyone have a great rest of the day and see ya.
Thanks, John. Now turning our attention to statewide news, the Board of State Canvassers have certified the results from the 2024 primary election. The Secretary of State's office says no errors were found in the post-election audit. For the first election with new voter ID laws, 99.5% of voters who cast their ballots provided an approved photo ID. More than 346 people cast their ballots for the primary, with a turnout of 28%, which is the highest turnout compared to pre-pandemic numbers. The report also showing a trend voting by mail, with 40% of voters using early voting methods. And according to the Department of Education, less than 1% of students get a perfect score on their ACT this year. 28 Nebraska high school students graduated this year hit that mark. The governor and Department of Education held a ceremony at the Capitol building to celebrate those students earlier today. Starting next year, the University of Nebraska system will fund a new presidential scholarship that will cover full tuition plus a $5,000 stipend for students that get a perfect score. UNL's interim president says he's excited for what the future holds for these students.
And for your achievements, not just academically, but what I've gotten to know from meeting with many of you over my last 6 months, visiting high schools across the state, is you're not only high academic achievers, you're student leaders.
One of the students getting a perfect score was from Greater Nebraska, and that is McCook's Catherine Richards. Congratulations to her for this very impressive feature. A Whole Ridge man is headed to court for child abuse after his baby had a skull fracture. 24-year-old Jason Remigetta is charged with the 3 felonies, including intentional child abuse with bodily injury. Whole Ridge police arrested Remigetta last month after the 4-month-old baby suffered brain injuries. Remigetta waived an evidence hearing in his case was transferred to Phelps County District Court. His partner, 21-year-old Elena Netfield, is also charged with child abuse. And lastly, a Crete man was accused of soliciting 2 teens for explicit photos, took a plea deal on Monday. 28-year-old Romero Alcorn Laura pleaded guilty to 1 count of possession child pornography. In exchange, 13 counts of child porn possessions were dropped. Police learned Alcorn was pretending to be a 17-year-old and had sexually explicit photos on his phone from teenagers. Alcorn's sentencing is set for August. He faces up to 20 years in prison. That wraps up this edition for KNOP's Panhandle Roundup, but join us right back here tomorrow as we continue to highlight the news, sports, and weather that matters to Nebraska's vast panhandle. Have a good day.